Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to talk about quite a unique and original tarot deck that was published a couple of years ago. That is the Autonomic Tarot. So here is the box. This was created by artist Sophy Hollington, and the little white book is by David Keenan, and the image on the box is from the Queen of Swords, and this deck is also known as the Complete Autonomic Tarot because a couple of years or a year before this full deck was created, there was a deck of the major arcana and 8 other cards. So there was a deck called the Autonomic Tarot by the same people, but it was not the complete full deck, and that is probably why this is also called the Complete Autonomic Tarot. So I really like this deck. It's quite unique and quite different, and the artwork is created with lino cut print. So yeah, it's really quite unique, and it's also the art style, according to the artist Sophy Hollington, also calls this art style glam-punk. So people who are watching may not remember that, but glam-punk was a culture of music and fashion in the early 70s. So this is like a revival of glam punk style in the artwork. So the little white book is quite well written. I really quite like. There's not much in this little white book as far as pages are concerned, but the content of the book is really interesting. The major arcana cards are Thoth inspired. They have Thoth titles for the major arcana. So I find that very interesting. David Keenan does have an occult knowledge, and that really does show in the information in the little white book. That's why the little white book is just so interesting. Most little white books are not necessarily worth looking at, but this one really is, because I think you really need to read this little white book. It's got all the meanings for each of the cards, and it really does help to explain the theme of the deck and the concepts behind the deck as well. There was an actual book that's been published for this deck as well. So for people who would really want to understand this deck a lot more, there is a book, and there is a website for Sophy Hollington, and I think there is also one for David Keenan. The name of the book is called To Run Wild in It, and it is a handbook for the Autonomic Tarot, also by the same publisher, and the book was published in 2018. And this full Complete Autonomic Tarot was published in 2023, about 2 years ago. So I gather that the shorter deck, the deck that only had the majors and it was a 30-card deck, majors and 8 cards of the minors, that would have been created, I'm guessing about 2020, something like that. And all of this is available. It's all still quite available. Okay, so to talk about the cards and to show some cards, The cardstock is quite good. This is quite an esoteric deck. It's a magical deck. It's actually magical. You'll be able to see this in the images in a moment, but it's a magical deck. There aren't many decks that you'd be able to use for magic or ritual, even Kabbalah. This is actually an esoteric deck. So here's the back of the cards. The cardstock is sturdy but flexible, and it's, as you can see, it's a little bit larger than a standard tarot card. Slightly larger, a little bit taller. The width would be about the same, but it's a little bit taller. But I find cards that size are actually better for ritual or magic or just for esoteric use. It's not, I mean, this would have been designed, this is designed for divination, but this type of deck, I don't use this deck for divination personally, but other people, of course, could do that. Okay, so to show some of the cards that I particularly like, here is the Fool, and you can see just how original this deck is. You know, I love the font. I love the titles on the cards, and you know, as I was saying, this is lino cut art, which I've always liked lino cut art. When I first saw this deck, I mean, it's just so different. I thought, okay, this is very original, it's unique. It just fascinated me as soon as I saw these images. That's the Fool. And the Empress. I love the use of colour. I mean, it's not a very wide colour palette. It's probably just primary and secondary colours being used. But the artwork is just so well done. It's really quite incredible. I love this Empress card. So I'm a bit surprised that this deck is not talked about a bit more, really. It's sort of flown under the radar a bit. Oh, this deck has got a matte finish with only a slight lamination. The lamination is kind of just right. I really like the quality of the cards. Here's the Lovers. Now, the way this symbolism has been done, I mean, you can see the serpent or the snake here to represent temptation. And I love the way there's kind of two sides to the art for the Lovers. It's really quite incredible. That's the Lovers card. Adjustment, which would normally be the Justice card. So this is what I mean by the Thoth-inspired titles for the major arcana. So this is number 8 with Roman numerals at the top. This is Adjustment. This card is particularly about balance. You can just see also the way that the art has been executed for this card. The design of the card. Adjustment. You can see the sword at the top too. What a great fortune card. I think this is so original. And I'm hoping that people can see by now that this is quite an esoteric deck. the images are sharp, they're sharp and vibrant, and the images are engaging. I think this deck, the way that it is an esoteric deck, it's also it has a magical feel. I think it's not only the art, I think it's because the images are so engaging. So this is Fortune. Great Hanged Man. This is, look at this. I mean, there's two sides of the artwork. You know, it's just incredible. Two sides of the image. The upper and lower part of the image. So, it's incredible. That's the Hanged Man. We have the Death card. This really, really just stopped me in my tracks when I saw this Death card. And it is just so true to the concept of death. Very, very true. You know, it's bones, it's teeth, there's a skull, there's a scalpel. It's just, even the stars, the whole concept of the universe being related, you know, the whole idea of death stars, things like that. This is a very good, a very real representation of death, what death is and what it represents. The symbolism is very good for this Death card. And you have the Devil. Now, same thing with this Devil card. This Devil card, you know, there's two images, top and bottom. There's only about 2 or 3 major arcana cards that are like this, with this top and bottom, upper and lower image in the card, but it's just so clever the way it's been done, especially when you remember this is lino cut art, which is very difficult to create. This is the Devil card. Really quite amazing. The Tower. This is so original for the Tower. I like the face on the top part of the card. You know, the face in the building. It looks like a face. Just so well done. The Tower. The Moon. The Crying Moon. Which is really dewdrops and the way that the moon relates to the ocean tides. And the Eon, which is a Thoth title, what would normally be the Judgment card. So it's a really beautiful card. Love that design. Okay, so there's some of the major arcana. And true to the rest of the deck, the minors are very original in design as well. And what is different as well with this deck is that for the aces and the tens, there is like a keyword, and Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. This is the Ace of Wands. This is the Ace of Wands, and the word ashes is used for the Ace of Wands. For me personally, the Wands suit, amongst other things, it can represent spirit. So the idea of ashes for the Ace of Wands, that makes sense to me. This is something else about this deck that really just stopped me in my tracks. This deck is just so original and unique. It's the Ace of Wands. And then you've just got the Two of Wands like this with the numbering here. So yes, this is a pip deck as far as the minors are concerned, but the aces and tens are not really pip cards. That's another reason why this seems to be Thoth inspired. And another reason why, because it is a pip deck, it would be really good for Kabbalah. Two of Wands, and here is the Ten of Wands. And this is what I mean. This is the Ten of Wands, and you can see this is like the Ace card. It's not pip kind of card. And you've got dust for the Ten of Wands. You had ashes for the Ace of Wands and dust for the Ten of Wands. And you've got the 10 Wands here. Yeah, I really like this. And the simple word, it's not distracting. I really like it. And quite a really interesting Knight of Wands. You know, this is a very alchemical image. You've got the salamander in the vessel, the phoenix bird here, for the alchemical vessel. It could actually be an ibis, or it could even be a pelican. I'd have to look in the book for that, but you could also see that as a phoenix as well. Right, there's the wands, the cups. See? Ace of Cups, hope, which is a bit sort of unusual. I haven't really thought of the Ace of Cups as far as hope is concerned. But if you think of cups as being associated with feelings or emotions, hope kind of fits in there. But the little white book does explain the meanings. So that's the Ace of Cups, the Three of Cups, and here again, here is the Ten of Cups. And people might think, oh, this is a bit ironic. You've got the Ten of Cups as beginning, the word beginning. But this is a very Kabbalistic concept, because in Kabbalah, the 10 represents regeneration, where it's culmination, only to begin again as regeneration. That's the 10 of Cups. And quite a beautiful Queen of Cups. It's really quite beautiful, that card. I love the fish. I just love the way it's been designed. Really beautiful colours. just all works. Queen of Cups. Now 4 Swords. Okay. Now, people will think of this again, the Ace of Swords, and with the word ending. You're thinking, oh. But in very traditional cartomancy, the Ace of Swords does mean an ending. So that's a very old associated meaning for the Ace of Swords. Very old. Going right back to the Marseille. So the Ace of Swords it's got the word ending. It's got that finality. And ending so that something new can begin, just like the 10s in the suits. 2 of Swords. The Queen of Swords that's on the box, which is a Kali type figure. Kali type image. Goddess Kali. Queen of Swords. And this other thing that is very much like a Thoth deck as well is instead of pentacles, you have the disc suit. So the Ace of Discs, it's bravery, the word bravery here. And again, that is a very interesting word or thought for the Ace of Discs. And I think, it takes a bit of reflection with this one. Bravery is like daring, and it is explained in the little white book. I think it's sort of representing a new venture. So a lot of people sometimes think of a venture, just venturing out with a new project. It's very original. You have the 2 of this here, which actually is quite like a Marseille design here, and also the Thoth deck. Two of Discs, and I really love this King of Discs. Really like this. You've got the earth, nature, and nature feel for the earth suit. This is someone representing, if it's a person, the enjoyment of nature, the enjoyment of the sun. It's the King of Discs. Let's look at that again. But, the sharpness of these images is really quite incredible, just so sharp. Okay, so there's some of the cards from the Autonomic Tarot by Sophy Hollington, who's done the lino cut art, and the little white book by David Keenan. Here's the backs again. I also love the backs. I just love it. Yeah, it's just so original. It's really, I know, what other word can I use? Unique, original, magical, esoteric, engaging. For someone who really wants something different and also, Thoth inspired, it's almost Thoth based, almost. That's the other thing that's different. The only other thing that's different with this deck as well is that the court cards have the Waite-Smith titles. So apart from that, if the deck had also included the Thoth court titles, it would have been Thoth all the way through. But the other exception as well is the 10 of the suit not being a pip card, and also these key words that are on the aces and the 10s. But okay, I'd have to say it's Thoth inspired, not Thoth based, but Thoth inspired. So the Autonomic Tarot. I even love the name of the deck. I mean, how original is that? It's so original. It's really great. Okay, so I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.